we will go to our party now, whoever is joining our party, and that is BTCS Inc. CEO Charles Allen and RockX co-founder and CEO Zhuling Chen. Welcome, Charles and Zhuling.
Thank you so much for having us.
Hello, everyone.
Right, so,
Great to be here.
Yeah, we can hear you fine. Charles, I'm going to start with you. BTCS Inc. is a publicly traded US company with a primary focus on blockchain infrastructure and staking. It currently runs about 240 ETH validator nodes with approximately 8,500 ETH staked, but these are non-custodial offerings. We're saying that up front. I know you don't have to say that now. Your outlook for Shapella, is it a catalyst for Ether? Is it a proxy war with Bitcoin? Is it going to have risks for generally the entire space? What's the major theme that's got you excited?
No, I think it's a really big positive for the industry, right? If you have a token that's locked up for an undetermined amount of time, it's a very risky asset for everyone to get involved in, right? I mean, we did it going back to 2021 when we first started staking. This is pre-merge, which was even riskier. As you can start to withdraw your assets, it becomes a much more attractive asset class for everyone. So I think it's a really big positive, obviously, in light of the circumstances and crypto pullback. There may be some, holders who've been locked up for some time that want to sell the rewards because they just need the cash, right? That happens. But I think in the long run, this is a huge positive for the industry.
And in the short run, bearish or bullish?
We'll see.
One thing I've heard about this upgrade is that it's likely to be, by crypto standards, relatively boring. Like, nothing crazy is supposed to happen tonight. We might not see a huge impact on price. Is that boringness actually a good thing?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there was a lot more going into the merge in terms of media, what could happen, could it derail? I mean, you're effectively changing the engine on a train while it's, barreling down the tracks. This is a much more subtle upgrade in comparison. And so, yeah, I would think it's probably a relatively boring event. Not to say people shouldn't get together and have some fun and watch what happens with the price, but I would say it's a relatively non-event event, if that makes sense.
And just for Zhuling, just to kind of zoom out here for a bit, I think it's always good to do this every time we talk about these upgrades. Just for the average mainstream non-crypto specialist, what are the main takeaways here? Like, what are the big changes that we will see? Putting aside what you just said, that it's going to be boring. For Zhuling, like, what are sort of the larger things that will come out of this that for people who don't understand the technical stuff could take away from this?
Go ahead, Chen. I don't want to let you speak.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So totally agree with the points shared. I think for the larger ecosystem, or for everyone that is watching Ethereum. So first of all, with this upgrade, finally Ethereum has completed its shift to proof of stake. Yep. So people can stake, people can unstake now, people can also earn the rewards. For all the token holders, for ETH token holders, this is the first time that without buying a very complicated mining machine or a ASIC, they can actually start to safeguard the network and also start to earn reward by validating all the transactions on chain. So we do think this is actually a game changer, because if you think about it, this is the first time that Ethereum has a long-term market risk-free yield curve that can actually goes for a long run. So this, on one hand, will have huge impact on the lending rates and also all the DeFi use cases. So on one hand, we think from a technical perspective, this is kind of a very boring and peaceful event. But from the dApps or application layer, we're expecting a lot of innovative financial products and also different types of new products on the way.
You're joining us from Singapore, Zhuling, and RockX is a Singapore-based blockchain company. It's looking to attract institutional investors to liquid staking with its new service, Bedrock, and all of this is happening at this time during Shapella. But what kind of response are you getting? Are you actually attracting institutional investors in this climate of Shapella?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So for the past few weeks, a lot of institutions are asking us, hey, is this transition going to be smooth? a lot of people are asking whether any actual withdrawal has taken place. So we think, a lot of institutions are taking this event as a trust vote to see whether, this should be something for them to take very seriously. Because once withdrawal is enabled, this eliminates one of the largest counterparty risk. Finally, they can take it out. So we are definitely, so in fact, tomorrow we are going to encourage some customers to withdraw out of the 240,000 ETH staked with us, just to demonstrate that, we are already technically, and also they can start to see the tokens back to their own wallet.
And are there any fears of a sell-off spiraling out of control, as we've seen with banks and bank runs recently? There is a possibility. No analyst has said that that's a serious possibility. And is there a difference in the take in Asia versus, let's say, in the US?
So in fact, Asia was less of a staking market because in the past it was more trading. And if we look at, when staking started for Ethereum since 2021, I think most of the token holders are still kind of below the water. So we don't see that much of an incentive for people to take profit right now. Probably the largest event we are observing right now is how all the unstaking from Kraken will take place, and where would those ETH go? Would they get restaked elsewhere, or would people take it, for something else?
Yeah, that's actually an interesting question, because staking specifically with Kraken, and there's been some talk of Coinbase has come under some pressure in the United States from regulators. How does that play into this story, or does it?
I'll jump in on that one. I think it does play, it has a big effect, right? I mean, Kraken, what they were doing was taking customer funds effectively. Once you take them, they're pooled together. It's not like they have a separate segregated, account for you with them. And so what are those customers going to do? And Coinbase is frankly in the identical position, right? They call it core staking, but if you go to their blog, it's actually, their earn program is core staking, but it's a custodial product. They take possession of your tokens, they pool it together. It is not how they describe it in the core staking Howey memo, right? We did a very similar memo 2 years ago. So what happens with those staked ETH when the SEC, has an enforcement action which is coming via the Wells notice will be interesting to see, right? So I think that's what those customers choose to do and how Coinbase chooses to handle that will be very interesting.
And, now that you mentioned Coinbase, we know that Lido, Coinbase, Kraken, and Binance are in the top 5 largest Ethereum validators. Out of the 18 million ETH staked, over 5 million through Lido. Just want to understand what that means. What impact do you think this upgrade will have on Lido, and whether the network will be more or less decentralized after activation?
I think it's a positive, right? I mean, overall, we have, the whole ethos of cryptos is decentralization, and we have a huge centralization in exchanges and staking providers. We saw what happened with FTX. So as we move to what I hope we move to a more non-custodial staking, where people either run their own validator nodes, or in certain other chains where it's delegated proof of stake, we would see a more decentralized and stronger network to benefit from that.
All right, Zhuling, unless Emily has a question. Emily, I'm going to ask a question to Zhuling just to wrap out. What are you going to be doing? Because it's going to be, late into the night in Singapore when this watch party starts all across the globe for the big moment, Shapella. And frankly, you've heard what Charles had to say. You've seen the regulatory environment in America. What's top of your mind at this time when you wake up tomorrow morning in Singapore?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, since we're very well prepared for all the upgrades. So on that side, actually our team has been a bit more relaxed compared to the past few weeks, because we have made sure that even withdraw with Lido, because we're also one of the node operators behind Lido, so we have made sure that things are ready. For our own solution, which is called Bedrock, that is tailored for institutional ETH liquid staking, we are going to enable on stake tomorrow morning when we observe that the network has stabilized. So we actually would take this as a signal to talk to more institutions to tell them, hey, from now on, you can actually treat liquid ETH as ETH, use your trading strategy, but at the same time, you can enjoy the staking rewards on top of that. And with all those benefits, we do believe that the staking ratio of ETH, which currently sits at around 16%, would go up to somewhere, close to other proof of stake blockchains, which is around 40% to 60%. So there's still a long way to go, and we'll see, institutions play a big role over there.
Yeah, we're going to have to get you back to just get a sense of what institutions say to you and how it all goes for you. Thanks so much for that. That was BTCS Inc. CEO Charles Allen and RockX co-founder and CEO Zhuling Chen.